and we're having
And it was a great show.
oh, it's incredible. I mean, I think of all the shows that we've ever done in Fathom Live, the last 5 minutes have to be top three, possibly, and you missed it.
Yeah,
So,
it's over.
so, so here we are. Are we live? Could somebody just comment and say something? I mean, let us know that you are watching, because that would be helpful to our understanding here. It's a Christmas edition. It's a special edition. We didn't know it was going to be this special, where we were going to like, stream to nowhere for 5 minutes. But anyways, here we are. I have with me Billy Nunez, our very own Director of Culture. You can talk a little bit about what that is, and maybe tell us everything else that you do, Billy. So thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh my goodness, Jeff, that was fun. Yeah, Billy Nunez live here in Florida.
Was it fun? I don't know. I felt a lot of anxiety and stress over that. Sorry. All right, go ahead. I interrupted.
No, it's all right, man. I'm Billy Nunez. I'm Fathom's Director of Culture. I'm also Fathom's Florida State Broker. Started with Fathom about 8 years ago. I was the Austin District Director, and then helped with Houston, helped with San Antonio, and then had history in Florida. So Mark and I talked, and the opportunity arose me to move back to Florida and open the state. So that's what I've done. And we've been in Florida about 7 years, or 6.5, 7 years with Fathom. So excited to be with you, Jeff.
Awesome. All right. So a lot of hats that you're wearing. I'm just going to take, like 5 seconds here and make sure that we're actually streaming this time, because it's been a little bit dicey here. We are live on YouTube, and we have some folks watching over there. Let me check the Facebook stream here and see what's happening there. So hang tight. Take a moment, grab a cup of hot chocolate, and we'll see if we can get this working over on Facebook.
Or if you're in Florida, iced chocolate.
That's right. You know what? It's like 75 degrees in Texas today. So I had a sweater on. I was going to be all cozy, and then I was burning up from the weather here. So, yep, we're not pulling into Facebook for some reason. So, well, we are live on YouTube, so I don't know if folks can be directed over there or not. So just hang tight as we get this thing up and running. All right, we are still working on some technical stuff. We've got a couple more people watching us on YouTube. We're trying to do stuff over on Facebook so that we can monitor some comments over there. But because we've got some great Christmas trivia for you here today. If not, you know what? We'll just record this and have a good conversation. We'll just pretend it's just you and me, like, just hanging out. And then
That's great.
And then I guess somebody's going to get a lot of gift cards over on YouTube if they're like the only person watching. So anyhow,
and one of them is Angie.
Yeah, and I think another one's me. So but there is another person beyond that watching as well. So we'll see what happens with this. It's just been one of those weeks here. So. Anyhow, Billy, again, so Director of Culture, District Director, State Broker, Real Estate Agent, Worship Leader at a church, pastoral work. I mean, you've done a ton of stuff. So as far as a little bit about you, I understand that you kind of were sort of a big deal back in the day when it comes to
Oh no.
the contemporary Christian music scene.
Well, it wasn't a big deal, but I did do stuff. Oh, whatever.
So tell us about this.
Well, but I was working on my master's degree at Southwestern Seminary in Fort Worth. And at the time, I was a youth pastor at a church there in Arlington, Texas. And there was a guy there that he owned a Volvo dealership in town. And he asked me if I'd want to make an album. And so we formed a band and made an album. And it was a lot of fun. We recorded it in Dallas at Goodnight Audio. Actually, Stevie Nicks' drummer was the drummer on the album. We got in the category of like newcomer of the year for the Dove Awards or something, and we didn't end up being the final nominations, but we were there, and it was pretty cool. But I quit. I just it was just a lot of traveling and a lot of stuff that I thought, that's not. I had a brand new baby. Angie and I had only been married a few years, so I thought it'd be best that I at that time not go on the road, if you will. So and we weren't we were okay.
Can I show the album cover?
Why not? It doesn't even, whatever.
There it is. There it is. That looks like pretty
Oh
serious
my.
stuff. I mean, you went to a studio and shot this.
Yeah, it was big time money at the time. I mean, the guy
What's
who
the
paid for it,
messaging?
yeah.
What's really the messaging on this picture here going on? Oh,
Then
oh
none of those, none of those are Angie, and so that was one of the problems.
yeah, yeah, I would say so. It looks like a lot of
Oh,
interesting stuff. Heartfire going on
yeah,
there. So
Heartfire, Open Your Eyes. We had a concert. We did a concert in Texas Stadium back in the day when it was the Dallas Cowboys were there. We were one of like three bands that did a big event there. So we were one of the bands on stage, and we performed a big thing at Wet and Wild there in Arlington. We were the feature band there too. But you may not be able to see it, but I have this big, huge Jesus Saves belt buckle on for cowboy belt buckle. It's just gross. I mean, it's like whatever. It's a little bit over the top.
and you still do like music stuff.
Yeah, yeah. My wife and I go down. Angie and I go down to the Florida Keys every weekend, and we used to live down there. I used to run a program down there for a nonprofit that rescues people out of human trafficking and domestic violence. So I ran that program in the Keys, and my wife was the director of the homeless shelter in Key West. So we have a lot of relationships. So we're on staff at church down in Big Pine Key, which is about 40 minutes north of Key West. We lived in Key West for years. And we're associate pastors where we do some music and then we mentor the young adults there. On every weekend, we drive 3 hours down and 3 hours back every weekend.
Very good. Awesome. So, as director of culture, just to kind of actually get into today's topic finally here. Well, first, let's delay it one more. By the
Yeah.
way, we announced on the previous try at this live show here that Dan Brunner won last week's show, worth up to $200 either in a yard sign package, Go Social Agent listing, or a photo listing package. So congratulations, Dan. I think you might be a 2-time winner if I remember correctly. But so get to commenting. But also today we've got some Christmas trivia. So as I ask the trivia question, if you can answer it first, and we will be monitoring who's first as best we can, at least who we deem first. From our perspective here, then you will get a $15 gift card towards some marketing swag, or you can use it anywhere on the marketing store that you want. So first question is, and you can use Google on this one. So this one you may want to Google. I'm just going to warn you. How many presents in total were given in the 12 days of Christmas? How many presents total were given in the 12 days of Christmas? It's not 12. I'll just give you that. Okay. So if you guess 12, you're not right. That was my first instinct. And I was like, wait a minute. So Billy, do you want to just hurl out a guess?
I would venture to say 10. I'm going below 12.
Well, you got the first day, you got, partridge in a pear tree, and then 2 turtle doves, then 3. So it's going to work its way
Oh,
all the way up to 12.
total. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the song. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go with 17.
17. All right. All right. So go ahead and throw out your That doesn't even seem possible, but I'm going to say whatever this trivia says it is. So you can throw it out. So we'll see who has the best guess there. Um, so as director of culture, why is culture so important at the various levels of a company?
Oh, Jeff, it's interesting because I think as I've worked with agents through the years, they don't realize how important it is to build a proper foundation for their business. Agents begin to work on leads. They begin to try to, farm. They begin all kinds of things. But it's like in real estate. If you don't have a good foundation underneath the house or the structure you're building, then you're into problems. I remember reading years ago a statement that caught my attention, and it said, matter of fact, let me before I tell you the statement, let me tell you why the statement means a lot, because I think if I illustrate it, it will mean more.
Yeah.
We all know about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Matter of fact, Jeff, you'll like this. I used to think it was the Leaning Tower of Pizza because
We
it's
all did. We
Italy.
all did. Let's be honest.
So, yes, so it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and if you Google where is it located, they're going to tell you Pisa. So, of course, but anyway, listen, it's got like a 3.99 degree lean, and when you research it, you discover that many engineers believe that there was selfish ambition involved in laying the foundation. They wanted to do it so quickly and get it done and make the most money. And so there was some selfish ambition involved. They also say that if it gets to a 5.44 tilt, it's going to fall. Well, the phrase that I read that kind of made me think of that was ambition often outstrips reason when it comes to building. And I think sometimes real estate agents, we our ambition overcome the reason, overcome the reasoning, if you will, about why we're doing things and what we should do. So building a proper foundation, I think, is huge. It's like if you get structural failure in the Leaning Tower Pisa, it's going to fall. And I'm telling you, you can have a great real estate business for a few years, but if the structure isn't right, if the foundation isn't right, it's gonna end up being a kind of a not a good story for you.
Very good. Great analogy. So as you're building, trying to promote culture within Fathom, how does an agent do this as an individual, maybe then as a team, and then
Yeah.
perhaps even kind of among their district? What are the things that you would be encouraging agents to do?
I think it goes back to the simple, if you're gonna talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk. And I remember when I first interviewed, about 8 years ago with Josh and with Marco, and then our state broker, J.R. Russell, when I interviewed them in Dallas and we were talking about me coming on as the Austin district director, there was something that caught my attention, Jeff, that I'll never forget. I've heard so many spiels because I'd been with a number of real estate companies before, and you hear the good at the it's a good motive, and they mean well, but sometimes it just wasn't panning out like I thought, and it should. And yet when I talked to Josh and heard his heart, something about him and the passion behind what he was saying told me that he wasn't just going to talk this talk, he was literally walking this walk. And that made all the difference. It's like when you pull, like in the Wizard of Oz, when you pull curtain back and you find the wizard back there doing all the mechanisms. It was cool to know that when the curtain is pulled back, that what you find in the structure of who we are as a company, that the talk is walked out. Well, that being said, I think it's huge when it comes to a team leader, when it comes to a team member. That team leader especially needs to set that tone so that those team members, they see it, because as you know, a lot is taught more than taught.
Right.
So those team members, they can see that team leader. Agent, the same thing. Their clients are looking at them, they're watching them. It's not just what they say, it's what they do. So their
Right.
clients are looking at them, and so walking that walk is huge.
Right. And I think people see through it really fast. And we've talked about that before. It's just,
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to, promote yourself as some sort of, agent with integrity and honesty, or, a people first. I mean, you hear that kind of stuff all the time. And it's like, you can tell within a few minutes that that person's not,
Um,
on your side. So,
It's
um,
it's so true, Jeff. Yeah, very true. One of the things I want to mention real quick is because we're commission based. Obviously, we all know we're out there, we're trying, we're beating the bushes, we're really trying to make that commission. And if we're not careful, we might have a bad month or two, and all of a sudden the next deal's about to close, and you think, oh no, should I cut this corner? Should I not cut that corner? That's where the foundation is so important. That's when the rubber meets the road, if you will, that we do the right thing in that moment, and it'll all pan out. It'll all work out. And it's really how to build a proper future for your business.
so you'll be happy to know that somehow in the maybe it's Facebook's new metaverse thing that's going on here. I'm kidding, but somehow we're live on Facebook. I don't know how this happened. So, um, if you're watching, just say hi to us, because we've been delayed from getting over on Facebook somehow. But we just showed up. I don't know how long we've been live over here. So welcome. I think it's time for. Well, I'm going to give the answer to the last Christmas trivia thing, and I don't even agree with it. I think this trivia is bunk. I think somebody put this together so they could get them, people on their website and downloading stuff, which is not integrity, and it's not a good culture. But
Go figure.
it's from christmassphere.com. So actually, I shouldn't say that. Now you're going to go look up all the answers. Stink it. Okay, so don't have integrity, for goodness sake. We're talking about culture today. Okay, this is what it says. How many presents in total were given in the 12 days of Christmas? And this is what it says. It says 364.
Wow.
Which is not mathematically, it doesn't make sense, because on the 12th day, you had 12 lords a leaping, then 11 ladies dancing, then 10 pipers piping, then 9 drummers drumming, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, right? And if you go down from there, there's not even 100. So somebody do the math. Yeah, but whoever answered that, if you answered 364, please explain how you got to that. All right, so here's the next question. And what we're doing, if you're watching, we're giving away $15 gift cards to the marketing store for swag, for whatever you want to spend it on over there. So get ready. Get your fingers ready. This one is really easy. Name the famous Christmas ballet. Name the famous Christmas ballet. It says somebody said depends on how many people they give it to. Well, it says my true love gave to me. I don't.
Yeah,
all right, we already have the correct answer. It is the Nutcracker, and I'll wait for the official verdict from our scorekeeper. Oh, somebody said Swan Lake. Well, that's part of the Nutcracker. Marcia Martin, you get $15 towards the gift. This is fun. Let's just do one more because we got a bunch here and we started late. Okay. This was new to me because this wasn't a tradition that I kept growing up. How many candles should go on an Advent wreath? How many candles should go on an Advent wreath? We'll wait for the answers to come in. Yes, we got a lot of Nutcracker answers from the previous one. We'll wait for that to come in.
I was way off, Jeff. I said 17.
Well, I mean, yeah, you were off. Anyway.
We were flustered anyway in the beginning of this. It didn't matter.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, if you do like the 12 on down, it's got to be somewhere around like 70 or something like that.
Gotta be.
So,
it's real estate math.
Somebody said 24 candles on an Advent wreath. I don't think this is true. I think whoever's making this stuff up is wrong. So look it up, Google it. How many candles on an Advent wreath? So, I mean, there's 24 days leading up to Christmas, so I'm not sure if that's what's going on. But a lot of answers coming in there. Okay. So we'll move on here. Fathom lays out our guiding principles, as far as culture, and I think they're very helpful. If every single one of our agents who joins gets that when they join, they actually get a printed copy of that. I hope you keep it. I hope you kind of look at that and take it seriously. But if you were to pick out a guiding principle or two that you find to be very pertinent to the real estate agent and their day-to-day business, what would you say is important there?
The first one that comes to mind, Jeff, in reference to building the real estate, it goes back to the foundation we're talking about, is integrity. Integrity is like our third one, I believe it is. And it's so important to abide by integrity in all that you do. Some agents will come to me and they say, well, what do you mean by that? Or, can you illustrate it? I guess we have time. I can tell a story, of this.
Yeah.
The way I illustrate this is tell a story of two guys from Chicago, two Chicago natives. To introduce the first guy, I got to mention a name that I think everybody listening is going to know. His name is Al Capone. He's pretty famous, and bootlegger, swindler, Al Capone, and they just couldn't catch him on anything, Jeff. They tried to nail him, they tried to arrest him, they tried to find a charge against him, but he kept getting off. And one of the reasons he kept getting off of these crimes was because he had a phenomenal lawyer. And this is the guy I want to mention first. The lawyer's name, and this is so Al Capone like, the lawyer's name was Easy Eddie. And every time I want to say that, I smile, or every time I say it, because it's like I want to throw out the raspy voice in my shoulders. Easy Eddie, that's his name.
How you
it
doing?
just fits.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How you
Easy
doing?
Eddie. You could exactly. So, but Easy Eddie was his lawyer. Al Capone loved him. He kept getting off. Everything Capone did, he got off. Capone loved him so much, he bought Easy Eddie an entire city block in Chicago, and anything Easy Eddie wanted, Easy Eddie got. Well, something happened in Easy Eddie's life. He had a kid. And when he had this child, decided, you know what, maybe things ought to change a bit. Maybe I should be a better example. So what he did is he actually went to the DA and he made a deal and he turned Capone in. That's how they finally got Capone. Within the next 12 months, Easy Eddie lost his life, which, you know what, if you're going to turn Capone in, that's probably going to happen.
Somebody said, somebody knows a little bit of the story.
Yeah.
They said he died a nasty death.
Yeah, it was on the streets of Chicago. It was not a good death. I don't think any death is fun. It was certainly not a fun death. So that's what happened to Easy Eddie. And that's one of the guys, a Chicago native, I want to talk about. But when it comes to integrity, let me talk about a second one, because first one, Easy Eddie, you can see the foundation was not a good foundation. So the integrity wasn't what it should be. So I think the faulty foundation finally even caught up with him, obviously. So here's the second story of another Chicago native. His name is Lieutenant Butch O'Hare. He's a World War II fighter pilot. He is in the South Pacific. His squadron takes off from their fleet of ships and they're going on a mission. And he realizes when he gets in the air that they had not filled up his plane with gas. So the commander of the fleet tells him to turn around and come back. Want to lose him. They didn't want to lose the plane. So on the way back to the fleet of ships, he actually intercepts a squadron of 9 enemy bombers that the fleet had not picked up, and he sees them coming toward the fleet of ships. So single-handedly, he shoots down 5 of those 9 enemy bombers.
Wow.
Yeah, he risked his life, everything. He was able to land safely. Now, sad to say, I think it was September 19th, 1943. Ended up losing his plane, never found him, so he lost his life. He was actually the first naval recipient of the Medal of Honor. And the cool thing is a destroyer was named after him as well, the O'Hare. But I think about 4 years later, like 1949, the Chicago O'Hare Airport was named after him. So that's another Chicago native that actually has a good foundation, a good integrity. But the way those two stories coincide is Lieutenant Butch O'Hare, his dad, his name was Edward J. O'Hare, who was Easy Eddie. So Lieutenant Butch O'Hare's son was Easy Eddie. So
that is fantastic.
Yeah, two stories of two different foundations. And I think it illustrates for us the importance of having integrity in all that we do, especially in real estate.
So the O'Hare Airport is named after Easy Eddie's son-in-law.
Son. Yeah.
His son.
Actual son. Yeah. Yeah. The actual child that Easy Eddie said, I'm going to turn Capone in order to be a better example for this boy. Yeah. And
wow.
that's what happened to Butch O'Hare. Isn't that crazy?
It is. Great story. And I was wondering, and I don't know if any of the agents watching would have, any testimony of this, but I was just curious if it made me think, like, how many agents out there have had an opportunity to cut a corner, or to did I lose you, Billy? I think I lost Billy there. Hopefully we'll get him back here. But I just wondering how many agents out there have had the opportunity to say, to cut a corner, and instead of doing that, they used integrity, and I mean, obviously doing right is good, and sleeping well at night is good, and having a clear conscience is good. But I mean, I've just wondered how many times agents have, again, you could have cut a corner or done something that was dishonest that you thought nobody would know, but then it turned out like it really, made a difference. Doing the right thing made a difference in your business. So if you have any of those testimonies, I'd love to hear you share those in the comments. Speaking of comments, we did get a right answer according to our whatever internet search Christmas trivia that I pulled up here. How many candles should go on an Advent wreath? Deanna Dickens Gunning got it correct with 4. 4 candles go on an Advent wreath. So congratulations there. You get a $15 gift card. Wow. So one of our earlier winners, Marcia, said the house that he stayed in, Jax sold a couple of years ago. Oh, in Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting, interesting history there. All right, here's another Christmas trivia. Again, it'll get you a $15 gift card if you're the first to answer it. Feel free to Google if you want to. Well, okay, this should be pretty easy for you. I mean, this has been around for, well, I'm going to ask part 1, part 2. I'm going to ask 2 of them. So if you get either of these first, then you'll get a $15 gift card. The first part is, in what year was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens published? In what year was it published? So there's an ABCD choice here, but you can figure it out with the internet, or maybe you just know. Also, second part to that, what is the name of Scrooge's dead business partner? What is the name of Scrooge's dead business partner? So if you can get either of those, then you'll get a $15 gift card. So I'm sure somebody will knock it out here. Just kind of going back to the guiding principles. I mean, integrity is one of them. It's one of our top ones. I mean, I think just above love, which we consider to be kind of the sort of canopy over all of these things, that if you treat people the way you want to be treated, and care about them, all that other stuff kind of flows from that. But any other guiding principles that you would point to and want to highlight today?
Yeah, Jeff, let me go ahead and mention love. Since you brought that up, I think it's really important to consider it, because I remember when Josh first wrote these guiding principles, when I saw love, I was like, huh. And the first thing that came to mind was that song, What Love Got to Do with It? It's like, whatever, I just couldn't I couldn't wrap my brain around it, And then I began to realize that it's interesting, because in English, we use the word love in so many different ways. And depending on the context of where we use it, you determine what we're saying by it. For instance, some of those that are watching might know my wife, Angie, and Angie's our Miami district director. We've been married 40 years this past summer. Yeah. And let me tell you that I love Angie, and I could say I love her, and you understand in the context what I'm talking about. Now, that being said, this boy's from San Antonio, Texas. So I also love Taco Tuesday. Now, hopefully, I love Angie a bit more, or a lot more, than I love Taco Tuesday. The truth is, Taco Tuesday is a close second. No, I'm kidding. It's not. But I will tell you, it all depends on the context in English. In other languages, though, Jeff, you know this, as a matter of fact, because it's in Greek, there's a number of words for love. One of them is the word agape, which probably a lot of those watching are familiar with. You see it on plaques, necklaces,
right,
whatever. It's that kind of intimate love between a relationship, like Angie and I. But then there's another word that those watching probably know. They just may not know that they know. And it's the Greek word phileo. Phileo is more of a brotherly, sisterly love, like a BFF kind of a thing. Well, if you take phileo and then you couple it with another Greek word, adelphos, and you put them together, you get a compound Greek word that many are familiar with, and it's Philadelphia, which is the city of
Brotherly
brotherly
love.
love.
Yeah.
That's when I grabbed that in my head, I thought, that's what Josh is talking about. He's talking about us having brotherly love for one another. And like you said earlier, that you really put the needs of others before you. And obviously, Jeff, in real estate, you know how important that is. Whatever that client wants, that's more important than what the agent wants. And as team leaders, and as district directors or as leaders in an organization, we need to love those under us so much that our ceiling becomes their floor. They
Hmm.
go higher, they do better, and we see them grow, and that's what should really give us pleasure. So I think love that's why Josh put it first. It's that important.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And I think you've kind of outlined some of that in a little bit more detail on one of our Fathom Life blog posts. So if you guys want to check that out,
Yes.
and for those who are like team leaders or whatever watching, and you want to have kind of, maybe some culture moment in your meetings, that would be a great thing to pull into that and just to read that. We got two correct answers. One from Teresa Graham. She said Marley, as in Jacob Marley. That is correct. And then Deanna Gunning also once again with the quick fingers here for trivia. She has 1943, and then she said, "I'd better know this." So I don't know why that's the case. I mean, I guess shame on us if I didn't know that. So good for you. Um,
I
but
didn't know him either. There was
I'm going to read one short testimony here from one of our agents that commented. I thought this was good. Winona, actually one of our district directors
yeah.
in Texas, said, "I had a listing that a gas leak have the option to have the option ended, and the seller was thinking it was the buyer's problem. I had to make her understand the right thing to do was to do the repairs, and also the buyer could terminate. Seller did the repair, and the buyer's agent was very appreciative." And I think that's
Mm.
you know the to kind of go into love again. The concept of loving somebody is sort of a contrast between giving and taking, right? People
Yeah.
that don't love take. You take. It's always about what can I get out of a bargain, or what can I get out of this relationship, or what can I get out of maybe a professional relationship, with a client. What can I
Yeah.
get out of them? And that's the entire opposite of love. I mean, love by its very nature
Yes.
is giving, and a great season to remember that in here this December. But
Boy, that is so true, Jeff.
there, giving that client, say, having a conversation with them, saying, "Hey, we don't need to, you know, try to like get everything out of this. Let's try to do the right thing and establish a good relationship with people, because just from a business standpoint too, you start taking from people, well, you've started a new culture, and that culture is taking, and then people are going to start taking from you,
Exactly.
so I'm going to read another
You
trivia.
know, Jeff,
Yeah, go ahead.
that's a really well, you just made a really good point, because I tell agents all the time that it's, when people choose a real estate agent, they're actually choosing the agent. They're not choosing Fathom. So these agents and all of us are our own walking billboard. People are looking at us, and it's the integrity that we could talk about Fathom's integrity all day. But these clients are wanting to know about your integrity, about my integrity. So I think that's a huge thing. And obviously, Jeff, referrals are such a massive part of our business. So in order for referrals for us to keep seeding, it's like we talk down in the Florida Keys where there's a lot of fishing and stuff. We talk about chumming the hole. So you go out fishing and you just pour a bunch of chum in the water and it attracts fish, and then you can throw out the bait with the hook. Well, integrity and living by integrity, love and living by love, and the other guiding principles, it's really just chumming the hole. It attracts people to the agent because of the solidity of that agent's personality and desire to serve that client. And then therein lies the bait and the hook, and you get the clients.
Awesome. I love that. Chum in the hole. That sounds. I like that. I think we lost Billy again. He just hopped off there. Well, in the meantime, until he calls back, I have another trivia question, and this one, I don't know if you'll get it right away or not. You can Google it again if necessary. So here's our next question. Oh, by the way, before I ask the question, Billy, you've done a lot in real estate. You've helped a lot of clients, and you've also helped a lot of agents with their business. So when I get done with this question, I was just going to ask you, what are things? This is kind of apart from culture a little bit, but I'm sure it would play into it. What would you say are like the top two things that you would give advice to on any agent trying to bring that business from the few transactions, maybe 5 to 10 transactions, up to the 15 to 20 transactions a year? So before I ask you that though, I'm gonna throw out two more trivia questions. This one's interesting. The most popular toy in 1980 was actually designed by a professor of architecture in Budapest to teach his students about spatial awareness. What was it called? The most popular toy of 1980 was actually designed by a professor of architecture in Budapest to teach his students about spatial awareness. What is it called? What is it called? Because it's still around today. So,
Oh,
interesting
my
questions.
goodness.
We'll see. We'll see if anybody. And I keep forgetting to give you a shot at these. I mean, I'm sure you've known every single one of them right on the right off the bat.
Listen, I could have won every single time. I'm just kind of deferring.
Right.
Honestly, I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know. That one I was thinking, what, Lincoln Logs? I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, that would. Somebody just threw out Lego. I'm not going to give the answer away yet. I'm not going to give the answer away yet. All right. Let me throw out one more here, just so we have a couple of trivia for people to go after. If you were born on Christmas Day, what's your star sign? If you're born on Christmas Day, what's your star sign? Again, I don't know any of this stuff.
Well, there's a star involved with Christmas, so there you go.
So, anyways, maybe give at least one of your top two for advice for agents trying to increase their business.
When agents talk to me about this, one of the first things I tell them, and it's interesting, Jeff, because this one seems so easy, but it really isn't, and you have to work on it. And I think it's to become a good listener. That's one of the top things I tell them, because what happens is, again, it's similar to what I said earlier about chumming the hole. You've got to really be a good listener, because you want to hear what that client needs. You want to understand and ask them a lot of questions. Something we're learning, and we have a Fathom book club that some of the leaders are a part of. And one of the things we learned is this little statement of stay curious longer. And so if you can stay curious longer with that client, ask more questions, get exactly what they need, and then serve them diligently through the entire transaction, all the way, going the extra mile, which actually service is another guiding principle, but serving them all the way through to the closing and then beyond. What happens is they remember you. And that's when the referrals start coming in. That's when they're going to mention you. I mean, I read a story, it was a pie chart that NAR sent out about why clients choose agents. And it amazed me to find out that in regards to choosing them because of the brokerage, I think it was under 3%. When I added up the portions of the pie that dealt with that specific agent, it was like 69 point something, almost 70% of the reason a client chooses a real estate agent is because of that agent. So it's so important for that agent to understand that whole concept of listening well, paying attention to what is, and then serving them through the entire transaction to closing and beyond. It's, Jeff, when a track star is running, when you're out on a race and you see the tape in front of you, you don't run to the tape and stop. You actually run, you break through that tape and you run further, and then you start slowing down. So if agents could understand there's even a beyond the closing service in communication and in serving, I think it bodes well for all of them.
Awesome. Great advice all the way through there. I'm going to ask you one more here, and then I've got a couple more Christmas trivia, and then we'll close out with that. And again, thank you for being able to navigate all these technical issues here today.
My pleasure.
But so for the question about the toy, the most popular toy in the 1980s, Teresa Graham got it again. And that toy is, in fact, the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube. Billy,
Wow.
I didn't give you. You didn't even. All right, I didn't
Oh,
give you a chance to answer again. Okay, so
well, I'm sorry.
this one. I mean, this is for me. It's obscure. But if you're born on Christmas Day, what's your star sign? Yep.
Gosh, I have no clue. I have no clue.
Yeah. Okay. Me neither. So, but somebody, couple people, several people got it right. I'm guessing if you got it right and you just honest to goodness did not Google it, I would love to know because I mean it's impressive.
Unless it's their sign, then they would
Where's
know.
Aaron from North Carolina here? Aaron Peeler, right?
Peeler,
Yeah,
Aaron Peeler?
yeah.
Yeah.
He said he's full of useless trivia, so I'm not sure if he's watching or not, but he should be. This is his moment. Um,
That's hilarious.
but the star sign is Capricorn. Capricorn,
Ah,
if I'm saying that correctly. All right, couple more here. This one's pretty obvious. I'll just say that. What country has the tradition of filling children's clogs with candy and treats on December 5th? What country has the
hmm.
tradition of filling children's clogs with candy and treats on December 5th? That's one. I'm going to grab one other here. And
Is the word claw kind of a hint, Jeff?
could be.
Could be.
Um, wow, I'm not that. It's this one's asking me to read French. I'm not going to even try that. Um, now talk about a Grinch here. Which U.S. president banned Christmas trees from the White House?
Oh my goodness.
Which U.S. president banned Christmas trees from the White House? And I'll throw one other one out there because it's also another presidential question. Which president was the first to decorate the White House Christmas tree and
Oh,
set things right?
nice.
Um,
Nice. Get it back in order. So, hey, by the way, Jeff, you may not know this, but do you know that Santa actually has a phobia, and his phobia is he's really honestly afraid to go down chimneys. They call it claustrophobia.
that's pretty good.
Oh well.
That's a good dad
Yeah.
joke
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, let me ask you one more question here, and this will be the
Yeah.
last one. Um, so an agent is new into a community, and I'm asking you this because you've moved a few times and have had to kind of establish yourself as an
Yeah.
agent, as well as you seem like somebody who would get to know people around you pretty quickly. So for those agents that might be struggling to kind of make those initial connections in their area, do you have any words of advice for them?
Yeah, I can tell you that we moved to the Florida Keys with Fathom. That's where we started with Fathom down in the South Florida area. And we were living down on those islands, Jeff. And it's very, as you can imagine, it can be cliquish at times because people have lived there for years and years and you're a newcomer coming in. I really think the best way is to get involved in community activities, to get involved in community groups. It was our local church. We found a church down there. We got involved. We were blessed because our church actually has 4 services. It's kind of large, and we were able to make connections that way. And it literally is such a blessing to us when church members engage Angie or myself. We actually have a church blessing. So, like 20% of our commission, we could rebate back to them or whatever. So, whatever we want to do to bless them. So, I think it's literally looking at the various clubs, the various organizations, getting yourself out there and not talk about real estate all the time. Just simply be you. Introduce yourself because remember, people fall in love with you because they want to engage you as a person in real estate. It's not so much your real estate knowledge they're after. It's what they want to know if you communicate well. Can you serve them well? That's what they're after. So I think getting involved in those communities and meeting people as fast as you can, that's what I would suggest.
All right, so we're gonna finish out. Thank you. We're gonna finish out our Christmas trivia here, and then we will say sayonara until the New Year's. And by the way, I'm excited about our New Year's show as well. We're gonna be doing stuff surrounding setting up proper business systems so that you're ready to go for 2021. So we're going to be doing that in January, and we'll have some downloads available for that as well. So if you're the type to make New Year's resolutions or to try to kind of start with a clean slate and really look at, really kind of examine all of the systems and everything that you use for your business, tune in for the January show. It's going to be really helpful for that. So, Billy, what country has the tradition of filling their children's clogs
Well,
with candy on December 5th?
I was going to say Sweden. I don't know why, but I just kind of threw that one out there.
It's a good guess.
Okay.
Do you want to
Holland.
Holland? Yeah, the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yes, it's the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Justin Livingston got that correct for the Netherlands. Also, who banned the Christmas tree from the White House?
Oh, yikes. I have no idea. I wouldn't be somebody. Is it somebody really, really back there, or somebody...
Well, it would kind of have to be. I mean, because like the modern media, I mean, they would just,
destroy the. Yeah,
you wouldn't be. I mean, yeah. Your presidency would be over at that point. I think. What's
Thomas
that?
Jefferson. I'm just throwing Thomas Jefferson. I'm just going to throw that.
Not a bad guess. So it was actually Teddy Roosevelt. Which president first decorated the White House Christmas tree? It looks like Billy has frozen here, which, it's December. So, but he froze with such a nice smile on his face. So that works out. Who was the president that first decorated the Christmas tree? And it looks like Justin got it first again, unless I'm not seeing this correctly. Hi, Billy. Welcome back. And he's gone again, just like that, just like Santa. Just you don't even know he was there.
I keep getting knocked off. My bad. Something's happening. I keep getting knocked off.
Yeah,
it's the elf on the shelf. It's the elf on the shelf. That's what the problem is.
When you froze, you had such a nice smile on your face. I mean, what you normally do, but it was like I was talking to you, thinking that you were just still smiling at me.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to freak.
Billy?
I'm kidding.
Billy, are you there? So, all right, the first person to decorate first president to decorate the Christmas tree.
Decorate the Christmas tree. Let's go with Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson again.
Yes.
No, it was actually in the last century. I'll give you one more guess.
Gerald Ford.
Wrong. But you're closer. The first president to decorate a Christmas tree was FDR, and it looks like, once again, Justin Livingston got that correct. So congratulations.
Good job, Justin.
A few of you won a couple of gift cards. Thank you for everybody that participated. This was fun. And go out and do some good real estate business. I hope you have a great Christmas and holiday season, as well as New Year's. And hug your family. Enjoy yourself out there. Any last words, Billy?
Oh, just how much I appreciate everyone that's watching. And Jeff, you do such a great job too. All on behalf of us out here that do listen and watch, thank you so much. This is a really help. This is such a help to all of us. And we probably don't know all the effort that goes on behind the scenes. So thank you for everything that goes on behind the scenes to bring this about.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you. And we'll see you all in the new year.
Bye,
all right,
guys.
So long.